Good evening and welcome to American Soybean Association and NOPA reception. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Alan Kemper, a soybean producer from Lafayette, Indiana, and currently I'm president of the American Soybean Association. On behalf of the boards of directors of the American Soybean Association and the National Oilseed Processors, and Mr. Hammer's here, it's our great honor to host this reception to welcome you and our special guest, His Excellency Han Duk-soo, Ambassador of South Korea, His Excellency Mario Jaramillo, Ambassador of Panama, and on behalf of His Excellency Gabriel Silva, Nicolás Lloreda, Deputy Chief of Mission of the Embassy of Colombia, to this year's Soy Industry Trade Reception. On behalf of the U.S. soybean industry, I ask you to join me in thanking and honoring these ambassadors and their predecessors for their hard work and partnership. As a result of their diligent efforts, we now stand on the threshold of enhanced trade agreements and trade relations between the United States, South Korea, the United States and Panama, and the United States and Colombia. The American Soybean Association and also many others in this room, including the Korean and Latin American trade coalitions, have worked for many years towards the passage of these trade agreements. These three trade agreements, combined represent nearly 3 billion with a B additional agricultural exports to our trading partners, and over 25,000 new U.S. jobs. American Soybean Association and all the groups represented here urge the U.S. House of Representatives and U.S. Senate to support and pass these trade agreements now and take full advantage of the opportunities they provide. At this time, I'm going to invite each one to speak individually. At this time, I invite His Excellency Han Duk-soo, the Ambassador of South Korea, to give a few remarks. Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, President Mr. Kemper. And I'd like to thank each and every one of the members of American Soybean Association. We are all working recently together for one single purpose of passing 3 free trade agreements through the Congress, represented by this hall here. And I especially would like to thank all of you for spending all day, some of you, for visiting the members of Congress who has a lot of interest in American soybeans and soybean industry as well as agricultural industry. Korea is the country with a very little small lands and resources. So annually, we are importing about $5 billion of agricultural products with a very, very high tariff and, I should say, some non-tariff barriers. And soybeans is accounting for about 10% of that $5 billion. And your International Trade Commission estimates that with these free trade agreements, which was concluded 4 years ago, that there will be an additional $2 billion more agricultural exports from the United States into Korea on the basis of $5 billion that is currently the size of America's export to the United States. So one thing is clear, these agreements will be good for Korea because for 48 million Koreans who are rather becoming wealthier and prosperous will enjoy the low-priced, high-quality American agricultural products directly as well as through the livestock that are actually fed in Korea. We welcome that opportunities. And the second one when I visited each members of Congress here at the Congress, the strongest response I always receive in favor of this agreement is when I speak and comment on soybeans and agricultural products in the United States. So you are the strongest force in pushing through these 3 trade agreements. These free trade agreements will be a symbol of our strong alliance relationship which currently exists and a strong alliance we will forge in the future. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to invite His Excellency Mario Jaramillo from the Ambassador of Panama to speak. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think it was in May that I was at one of your events with our director of our canal, and we signed an agreement with you, your association. I want to thank you again, all your support. We have negotiated trade agreements with Canada, which already signed, will be implemented, and we are negotiating with Europe. So this is another reason why the United States will lose competitiveness in Panama if we don't move ahead with this. As far as the free trade agreement status, we had one issue, which was what people would say that Panama was a tax haven. We got out of the gray list of the OECD. To do that, we signed 12 information exchange agreements with 12 different countries, plus the TEII with the United States. It was an agreement on information of tax information on the U.S. citizens. And during the markups that were done last week, both houses approved our treaty without any amendments. So I'm sure, like the ambassador from Korea said, there's more and many reasons for these treaties to go ahead and get approved. We, as foreign diplomats, we cannot get into internal political situations, but we appreciate the help of you as private enterprise are giving us to go ahead with this. And I'm positive as soon as they get through their internal political problems and other issues, that this treaty will be approved. Thank you very much.
On behalf of His Excellency Gabriel Silva, I now invite Nicolás Lloreda, the Embassy of Colombia, to make a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First, I'm going to keep this very short. I know it's been a long day, and I know all of you have been walking through Congress and doing your job, and you all deserve, and we all deserve a drink. I just want to... I want to apologize on behalf of Ambassador Silva. He really very much wanted to be here. As some of you know, he's a farmer, and he has a very special place in his heart for you. He had a last-minute personal issue, so he sent me instead. But I really want to thank all of you for what you're doing. I just want to say that, as you say in the United States, doing these 3 FTAs is what you call a no-brainer, a win-win situation. What we're talking about here is strengthening the ties with 3 allies. Colombia is one of the closest allies the United States has in the world. Colombia is an example of a country that 10 years ago was on the brink of being a failed state. And thanks in part to our hard work and the very strong cooperation of the United States, we are a very stable, booming economy. In the last decade, we doubled our per capita income. 2011, let me just say this, 2011, our market for soybeans meal, soybeans oil buds, soybeans flour, and soybeans will be over $1 billion. And the only thing that's stopping the United States to continue having a strong market share and growing in that market is not passing the FTAs. Delay of the FTAs destroys jobs in Colombia and in America. So we have to pass those FTAs and pass them soon. As soon as they're done, the tariffs will go down, eliminated for all soybeans products. Right now, you're paying between 5 and 20%, over 60 million US dollars paid last year in tariffs. So we just need a little bit more push for your help and we'll get them done. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to share a toast with each of the ambassadors and their representatives to commemorate this auspicious occasion.